showtime.
Welcome to Virtual Dine, Learn, and Move, brought to you in partnership with Prince George's County Health Department, Suburban Hospital, University of Maryland Capital Region Health, and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. Dine, Learn, and Move is designed to promote healthy lifestyle habits. Over the next 90 minutes, you will have fun, get up, and move. Learn everything about healthy eating and engage with our chef while watching a cooking demonstration. Let's get ready to dine, learn, and move.
Greetings and welcome to the June session of the 2022 Dine, Learn, and Move virtual experience. My name is Kate McGrail, and I am with Suburban Hospital. On behalf of the Dine, Learn, and Move collaborative partnership, I'm here tonight supported by a team from the Prince George's County Health Department, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County, and the University of Maryland Capital Region Health. We're so glad you could join us this evening to learn about this month's topic, eating in color. Whether this is your first time with us or you are a returning participant, we hope you have a wonderful experience tonight. You may have already noticed that our Zoom platform looks a little different tonight. That's because we are on Zoom meetings, which allows us to see each other for tonight's extra special physical fitness session. To make tonight successful for both presenters and other participants, we kindly ask you to stay on mute during all presentations. We'll make sure that there's time for questions at the end of each segment, and you can use the chat box, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen to type your question. So let's take a quick test of your skills by typing in your zip code in the chat box. This will also help us learn a little bit more about where you're joining us from tonight. As you do that, I'll remind you that we have Jasmine to help monitor our chat box tonight. So she'll be popping in and out to direct your questions to our presenters. And these zip codes are rolling in. We've already got 18 folks who've found their chat box, 22 coming in everywhere across the county and beyond. So thank you. Have that button handy for later when it's time for questions. But first, we're gonna go through the lineup. So on the next slide, you'll see that we have 3 presenters coming in to make time for both physical activity and healthy eating. So, who is ready to dance? We are so excited to welcome DJ Chris to throw out some upbeat hits tonight. We encourage you to stand up and boogie away as a reminder that physical fitness comes in many forms. Dancing is great solo or with family and friends. This segment is brought to you by the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. Then we're gonna have Sherma, our favorite registered dietitian. You may have heard her mention eating in color throughout the year, but tonight we're highlighting that topic for the whole session because it's so important to incorporate color into our diet. This segment is brought to you by Prince George's County Health Department. And then we'll wrap up with a live cooking demonstration from Chef Natalie as she creates colorful recipes you'll want to try yourself at home. This segment is brought to you by our health system partners, University of Maryland Capital Region Health and Suburban Hospital. All right, the zip codes are still rolling in, but now it is time to dance. So before you stand up, one last reminder, please make sure you stay on mute. You can turn on your cameras so we can watch you exercise and find those beats. This segment will not be recorded, and that will allow us to protect your privacy. We will record the later sessions for the nutrition and cooking demo segments and share those with you in the follow-up email. As
she's going to keep you updated, and you guys have a great summer, and we'll talk soon.
Oh my gosh, DJ Chris Stiles. What an awesome physical activity session. Thank you so much.
No problem.
The best part was seeing not only the moves, but your faces with those smiles. We've missed the faces. Thanks for bringing so much energy to that session. And have a seat now. Make sure you're still on mute. And we're going to turn it over to learn more about eating in color from Sherma. So take it away. And Sherma is with the Prince George's County Health Department.
Hello, everyone. I really can't talk right now after Chris. I'm still out of breath. But here we are. Again, the colors of health. June is a really busy month. We have Father's Day, we have the Pride Day, we have Juneteenth Day, we have Brain Health Day. I mean, we have so many activities during this month. But the great news is that Eating of Color can fit all these activities. So there's a benefit for every one of these activities. Now, when we talk about color, I like to start with the red. How many of you had something red today? You can put it in your chat. I hope we all had something red. I had tomatoes today, so that was my red vegetables. But when we're talking about Eating of Color, we are talking about the natural color, not the artificial colors that they may add to certain products. We are talking straight from the soil, red colors. Now, what does red brings us? What health benefits? And what kind of fruits? As you can see in the slides, we have red apples, we have red grapes, we have, as far as fruits, we have raspberries and strawberries, and some veggies. We have some red peppers, red onions, and we have red kidney beans and red pinto beans and red lentils. All these colors, when we put them together, what do they give us? What nutrients do they bring? Well, one of the best things is the beta carotenoids, the lycopene. For men, this is great because this is one of the problem with prostate cancer. If men could use a little bit more of their lycopene, we can see some reduction in the prostate cancer. Antioxidants, which promote our heart health and memory, urinary tract infections. All of these comes from eating something red. Many of these are also high in your vitamin C's. So eating red, try at least once or twice a week, have something red. I'm sure our chef may have something red tonight, but make sure you add something red for today. Our next one is orange and yellow, and we mix in, I always say orange and yellow. We do have two favorites that we usually go with, the orange and yellow, and usually everybody has a banana or an orange or pineapple for the fruits, cantaloupes, tangerines as far as fruits goes. Vegetables, how about the butternut squash or your yellow peppers or yams, or sometimes your summer squash, pumpkins. So these are yellows and oranges, and they are very good source of the bioflavonoids, and they're good sources of vitamin C also. One of the things I always push with these colors are your vision. They are good for your eyesight. As we get older, our vision begins to get a little bit on the light side. We don't see as much. I've been wearing glasses for, oh my gosh, since I was 13. But, getting some yellows and orange in our meals is great. Another good thing with the yellow and orange is that they help with our skin color, and help to prevent, a lot of buildup. Or if you are like me, sometimes have a lot of skin breakdown from eczemas and stuff like that, it's great to get some of these. they keep your skin healthy. And another good thing, it's lower your risk for heart attack. It is very, very important that we get these nutrients from the whole food, not from the artificial flavors that we see all the time. So get some of your pumpkin and your squash. They also have some fibers in there, but we need to make sure that we are eating a lot more variety from your colors. Let's look at your greens. The greens, we get a lot more greens. I noticed that that's one of the most popular fruits and vegetables that we can get, everything green. But the rainbow, the colorful, the blend of colors is what we need to make a balance in our health. So with greens, you get avocados, you get your grapes, you get, your honeydews, your limes, and your peas, and of course, veggies. Green veggies are very, very popular. You get broccoli, you get your leeks, you get your asparagus, you get your Brussels sprouts, you get cabbage. All of these are green lentils, and we think we're going to have some form of lentils today. You get, your squash and your peas. So the green color is really from your chlorophylls, and they are very good sources of magnesium and folate and vitamin K, calcium, and also they're good with vision. I must push that, a lot of our greens, the calcium in our greens, excellent sources. Remember years ago when our grandparents used to use a lot more of their your kales and collards, they were getting calcium. They weren't getting the milk, but they were getting the calcium from the kale and the collards. And that is what gave them the strong bones and the strong teeth. So we don't appreciate it now, but those that were our grandparents, great-grandparents during the slave time were getting a lot of their calcium from. So still keep on going with your greens. Yeah, white and I say white and tan, it's not actually, they're kind of a beigeish color white. And you'll find these sometimes, and you have white nectarines and white peaches, and you have, I like to add the ginger, in it, the cauliflower, the white corn, white onions, white potatoes, turnips. One thing I have to say with potatoes, you can get them in several colors. You can get red potatoes, you can get white potatoes, you can get almost purple potatoes. So you can have them all three and three different colors for that one potatoes. One of the good sources of the white or dark brown is that they have folic acid. And one of the good things with folic acid is anti-cancer causing. They are very good sources of phytochemicals. So we need to make sure that we try to get and good sources of vitamin C. Potassium, excellent. If you're on high blood pressure medication, check to make sure that you're getting, sometimes we need a little bit more potassium. Your doctor may put you on a potassium medication. So look at what you eat. We can get it from our food. So includes that in there. Another good things with the browns and whites is your beans. I like navy beans and lima beans, excellent source of fiber. And what the fiber does, it helps to lower your cholesterol. It acts as a fiber brush and scrapes against the arterial walls and remove some of that cholesterol that is built up on your arteries. So, getting some browns and white, we very rarely see too much of us getting this type of food. How many of you use the white corn or cauliflower? Cauliflower has become popular over the years because they have started using cauliflower as flour for making pizza and cauliflower for rice, and which is very good because you're getting some additional nutrients from that. And it's lower in the carbohydrates. So for people who are trying to lose weight and cutting back on a lot more of the starchy vegetables, cauliflower has recently become so popular in what we are doing. So I like that. And purple and oranges, purple and blue, one of the things that, I like with that is that it's the blackberries. This whole summer, if you can get blackberries, blueberries, These are excellent sources of, of antioxidants. They're good for your memory. They're good for your eyes. It's good for urinary tract infection. And as I'm getting older, it helps with our aging. So make sure you get that. Raisins, the plums are great. Your veggies, like the eggplants. I'm from the Caribbean, I'm always saying, and we use a lot of eggplants here. Here, I have not seen much. Most of my patients don't use as much as I would like them to, but eggplants are excellent. Your black beans and peas. Black beans, your fava beans, and your black soybeans are excellent sources of fiber. And some of these beans, you can use them instead of using protein. You can use your beans and peas and legumes for protein instead of using your meat. So the next slide, before I run out of time, the next slide will give us how do we use these and how could we implement some of these in our meals? And you'll see some of the chef today will give us some great ideas on how we can add color to what our meal preparation. So breakfast, if you start with some color in the morning, at least you'll know that you will have some color. Like when I asked of how many of you had something red, in the morning, you could have gotten some strawberries in there in your cereal. You could blend it, or you could make a smoothie with it. If you're having a snack, try to combine a lot of the colors. Just don't stick with one color. Sometimes we get kind of bogged down on one color. A variety is the spice. That is where we can get all the nutrients that we need and a better health. If you at lunchtime or for lunch or you want a break, you can add any form of your vegetables. Make a great salad. You can add egg, whether it's omelet, and you can add any of these green vegetables to it. And you can even add some beans to it. There's no rule or regulation that states that you can only eat one color. The variety is important, and that's where we get our color for health in. Lunch and dinner, if you can't make it, have a salad, have a green salad, and when I make my salad, I add everything to it because the kids don't like sometimes to get the salad. So I would put fruits in there. I would put strawberries. I would sometimes cut up a couple of, besides tomatoes and onions, which is the usual thing, you can use your pineapple, put a couple of pineapples into it, put some strawberries on your salad. And this way you have more of a color and it looks more appealing. Try adding some, peppers or broccoli if you're making some pastas, or even potatoes. Add some color to it. Don't just serve white potatoes, add broccoli to it. You can add some green peppers to it. You can add any form of green vegetables. You can even add some Brussels sprout. Cut up some Brussels sprout and throw it in with your noodles. Fruits and vegetables could be eaten raw. If you can get them raw, it's better for you than to even get them any processed. Stay away from all the processing of the foods. When you buy something that is processed, they have to add color to make the carrots look color, get the orangish color to it. So whatever we're buying, if we can go with during the summer months, stick with fresh fruits and vegetables as much as possible. I know at this time with the COVID, where our grocery store is not looking as it used to be, as colorful as it used to be, but stick with what we have. Buy in season, whatever is in season in the summer, purchase that. And then when the winter time comes, we can go to more of the winter fruits and vegetables. So I would stop here to answer any questions.
Yes, hi, this is Harriet. I've known people to run out of the team room if I have brought in Brussels sprouts. They don't like the smell. I don't realize the smell, but they don't like the smell. And I told them, or the taste, and they don't like the taste. I said, well, it may not be the best, but maybe the butter with the canola, canola oil or the olive oil, maybe some part skim mozzarella cheese or some variation thereof. Any suggestions so that I can convert more people?
That's a good question. And I will also ask my team mate, she's a registered dietitian also, and she's the chef. She is more into the cooking than I am. But one of the things when we contain the Brussels sprout, when you open it, you have that volatile smell. So I usually just add lemon juice onto it, and I keep it open for a while before when it's prepared. Leave it open so the air would get to it, and I add lemon juice to it. Natalie may have some other ideas, and I would also leave that so she can answer that too.
But yeah, absolutely. But the smell is those phytochemicals that Sharma was talking about that have health benefits. So the stinkier the vegetable, the more nutrients it's going to have. And I like to roast mine with and put some balsamic vinegar on them.
Yes, that's good. Great. Great question. I guess everybody's eating healthy. Everybody had something red today and something orange or green. Questions? Put it in the chat, or we'll have Jasmine will ask. Somebody had tomatoes today. Great. And tomatoes is very easy. You know, look at what you have in your pantry and try to choose some of everybody should have some colorful fruits or vegetables in their pantry. It should not be just one color. And try to incorporate it at either 1 or 2 meals. Yes, I see. I thank you, Ruth. So try not to have it just at one meal, but have a variety at each meals. You know, when we talk about the rainbow, it is for your whole system. It's not just for one part of your body. Yep, carrots and sweet potato. Sweet potato is excellent a good source of fiber, and we need to include it. You can do so much with sweet potato. Bake it. You can do if you have an air fryer, do it. Air fry some sweet potatoes and sprinkle some balsamic vinegar on it. That is also good. And try some other colors. Don't go with, always try the same thing. Yeah, your tomatoes and broccoli and spinach. Those are so common. Let's go for something exotic. Try some exotic, fruits and vegetables. When you go to the supermarket and you see something that you don't know, it might be from a different culture, ask them, how do you prepare this? And what is it? And try it. Don't buy a whole lot, but try it and see what it is. If somebody had a really great watermelon and sweet potatoes, and yeah, that you had 3 colors in one. And yes, with a taco, you can have a variety. You got different colors in there. Yellow, yeah, great. The kebab had the red, yellow, green peppers and onions. And look at that. You had the whole rainbow, Dorothy. That is excellent. And that's what we are talking about. If you could combine a meal that has all these colors, you are doing great. Your health benefit is wonderful with trying to use that. So thank you. I'm out of time right now. So I would, if there's any questions, you can put it in the chat and I will be happy to answer later on with the chef.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sharma. We love that lesson about incorporating color. And now we're going to turn it over to Chef Natalie, who's going to put it into action. So see how it can work in your life with some recipes that will use fresh seasonal fruits and vegetables. So, but don't forget, we still have the chat box. It's open for questions throughout the session. But quick note, one of the most important behind the scenes aspects of our typical platform, which is Zoom webinar, is that it collects some really great data that helps inform the way we offer and continuously improve upon this program. So since we're using Zoom meeting tonight and we don't have that data collection aspect, it's more important than ever that you fill out the evaluation. So by the time this event is over, you'll have a new email from Sharon and it will have a link to the evaluation. So please, please just take 2 minutes to complete it. It really helps us. And for example, in previous evaluations in the last 1 or 2 months, you've mentioned that you want healthy beverage ideas. You want to know more about seasonal vegetables and you wanted to try lentils. So tonight, Chef is going to show you how to incorporate all 3. So we are listening to you, so keep your feedback coming. And now I'll turn it over to Chef Natalie. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Kate. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. This is the house that my parents built, and I'm moving back home. And I can remember they used to have a garden in the backyard, and my parents would go out there and pick the vegetables and the fruit, and then we would come back in and, my mom would cook some delicious dinners. So just want us to get back to having more of those whole vegetables and fruit. Now, I don't have a garden, but I did go to the grocery store and look for locally grown and things that were in season. And the farmers markets are opening up now. So I'm real excited that we'll have that opportunity to have some great vegetables and fruit. So as Kate mentioned, tonight's menu was driven by those evaluations, things that we saw on that list. So keep it coming. It gives us some great ideas. So tonight, we're going to have baked cod with a peach and tomato salsa, because one of the requests was, how do you cook fish quick and easy? And then another request was using seasonal fruits and vegetables. To go along with this fish with the peach and tomato salsa, we're going to have a warm lentil salad. So on the stove, I have a couple lentils with 4 cups of water. And Sharma was mentioning about white vegetables. I have a white onion in there with cloves embedded into the onion. And then I also have a white turnip in there as well. So when we think about adding vegetables to our healthy eating plan, it could be to season a bean like lentils tonight. And then, as Kate mentioned, someone asked for a healthy beverage idea, and we're going to have iced green tea that is fruit flavored. So before we get started, I just want to wash my hands, but I have a couple of questions for you while I wash my hands. So one of the fruits that we're going to use this evening is peaches, and it's going to be used as a salsa on top of the fish. So what are the 2 main types of peaches? So if you could type it in the chat while I wash my hands, I'll be right back. Okay, so what's the answer?
Okay, so someone said freestone and cling.
Absolutely, freestone and cling. So for the salsa tonight, see if I can put it under here so you can see it. What kind of peach is this? Cling, absolutely. So if the flesh is clinging to the pit, that's a cling peach. If it's away from the pit, that's freestone. Those 2 main types of peaches, and we're going to use cling peaches tonight. So as I mentioned, I have on the stove some lentils that were with some water, a white onion with some cloves embedded into the white onion, and a white turnip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the onion and the turnip out, and I'm going to drain the lentils. Gonna have them over on the side for a second. We're gonna make, we're gonna saute some leeks and some carrots. In this pan on the stove, I just have some olive oil. And the leek looks like this. It's in the onion family. You don't really want to use the dark green part because this is kind of woody, it's kind of tough. Doesn't have a lot of flavor in there. You want to go with the lighter green portion, and the white portion has a root like other onions, so you just want to cut that off. And when you slice it up, you're going to have thin little bands like this. So to the olive oil, I'm going to add the carrots. That's our orange. And we're going to add the leeks. That's our green and white for this evening. We are going to make a dressing for the warm lentil salad. So in here, I have some olive oil. We're going to add some red wine vinegar. You can use other, but this is a nice combination, brings out the flavors of the lentils. Gonna add some Dijon mustard. And I'm using a smooth mustard, but you can use a grainy one. That works just as well. Gonna add a little bit of black pepper.
There's a question about the peaches. Is one better than the other for cooking or desserts?
It's not, one is not better than the other. They have a similar taste. Similar nutrient value as well. They both work well when it comes to cooking. And I even like to grill peaches. So just cut it open, remove the pit, put it flesh down on the grill, and put a little scoop of vanilla ice cream or yogurt. It's delicious. So we're gonna set our dressing to the side. And we're gonna mix all that together in a moment. Wish you could be in the kitchen with me because it smells absolutely heavenly in here. We have from the cloves and the onions, the leeks that are cooking, all of it is delicious. So for the fish tonight, I'm going to use some cod. And this is just a cod fillet. And it doesn't have a strong flavor to it. So what you put on it is what's going to help to flavor it. I like to just line a pan with some aluminum foil or parchment paper. I spray it with some olive oil spray. I'm just going to transfer the fish to the pan. I'm going to season it with some olive oil. A little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to put it into an oven that's 450 degrees for about 10 minutes. So the vegetables are starting to wilt over here, and that's what we want to happen. Because as Sharma mentioned earlier, we want to keep some of the texture of the vegetables intact. So we just want them to soften up just a little bit. And then we're going to take them off the stove and add them to the lentils that were cooked and the dressing that we prepared. So while the leeks and the carrots are sauteing a little bit and the fish is cooking, we're going to make the salsa for the fish. So I have in the bowl already some peaches that are just been diced. I'm going to add some tomatoes, and I chose to use a variety of different colors of tomatoes in honor of the theme tonight. So I have some purple tomatoes, some yellow tomatoes, some orange tomatoes, some red tomatoes. We're going to add some red onion. And we're going to add some cilantro, some green cilantro. Just going to give it a quick little toss. We will add a little bit of salt. And we're going to add some lime juice. This is just my little juicer. It screws right into the top of the fruit. And you just open up the cap and the juice comes out. Got this in Target. Just going to toss this together. Now, this is not only a great salsa for the fish that we're having this evening, but I like it on chicken. I even like it with some chips. So when we think salsa, a lot of times we buy it already in the jar. We can make a quick, easy one. So during the last minute of sauteing the leeks and the carrot, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. And you only want to cook the garlic until you can start to smell it. Any longer than that, it will burn and it will be bitter. So we're going to let that cook for just about a minute more. And we're going to add that mixture to our lentils and our dressing. So I can smell the garlic. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to add these vegetables right to the lentils. So we kept the color. We still have the orange carrots. We have the green leeks, the green and the white leeks in here. Nice and colorful. Packed with tons of nutrients and flavor. Now, the lentils, they started out dry. You want to make sure that when you are getting lentils, they're going to be dry. You want them to be firm. You don't want them to be shriveled or soft and mushy.
So we have some questions in the chat box.
Please.
All right, so at what point do you use the clove studded onion?
Say that again for me.
At what point do you use the clove studded onion?
Oh, so when I put lentils, water, the clove-studded onion, and the turnip in the pot. Turned it on to boil. Once it came to a boil, I turned it down to a simmer. And then you just let it cook for about 15 or 20 minutes until the beans are softened.
Okay, and then 2 questions. Can you use canned lentils? And then what kind of lentils did you use?
I used dried lentils. It was just the store brand. And you could use canned. It will be a little softer. So when you buy them and use the dry ones, you can control the texture. The ones that are in the can are already going to be cooked and they'll be soft. So you would kind of skip the step in terms of the turnip and the clove-studded onion. But that's really an important step because that's going to add flavor to the lentils. So quick, easy side dish. Nice, colorful dish that we're going to have with our fish. I'm going to check on the fish. It's looking good, almost done. We have about 3 minutes more. So I have a couple of quick questions for you when it comes to peaches. Sharma mentioned that fruits and vegetables are good sources of nutrients. And when it comes to peaches, they're a great source of which nutrient? Is it vitamin A? Is it potassium, vitamin C, or all of them? Please type in the chat the answer. What nutrients are you going to find in peaches? A, potassium, C, or all of them?
We have responses for vitamin C, but then we also have responses saying all.
Absolutely, the answer is all. When it comes to peaches, they're good sources of both vitamins, like vitamin A and C, as well as minerals, like potassium. Potassium is really important when it comes to our blood pressure. So when we're trying to get our blood pressure in check, good way to do it is by adding more vegetables and fruit into our eating plan. The key is keeping it closest to its original state. So tonight, we just cut up, washed and cut up a peach that's closest to its original state. We didn't cook it. We didn't, so that's what would happen if you had like canned peaches, for example. So we want to try to have fruits and vegetables as closest to their original state as possible. My second question is that what is the best way to store a ripe peach? So once it's ripened, and you're going to know it's ripened because when you hold it in the palm of your hand, it should be kind of soft and you want it to be heavy. What's the best place that you should store a peach once it's ripened? So I saw in the refrigerator, and that's absolutely true. If it's not ripe, you want to put it in a brown paper bag and keep it out on the countertop until it is ripened. If you put an unripe peach in the refrigerator, it never will be as flavorful and it won't ripen. It will still be kind of hard. So make sure that it's ripe before you put it in the refrigerator, okay? So where did peaches originally come from? What country did they grow in originally? Was it here in the United States? Was it in China? Or was it in Australia?
We have a response for China.
And that's absolutely right, China. That's where peaches were originally grown. But they're grown all over the world now. And so what state is known as the peach state?
The response is Georgia.
Absolutely, it's Georgia. So in honor of my father, who was from Georgia, and all the Webbs down in Georgia, we are going to have a peach salsa on our cod tonight. So you see, it's nice and flaky. That's how you want it to be. That's when it's done. It's a high temperature oven. Doesn't take long to cook. Just a little bit of oil on the flesh and a little salt and pepper, and then this delicious salsa right on top. We're gonna have our lentil salad to go along with this dish. And the DJ was asking what were we having for dinner tonight? This is what I'm having. Have our lentil salad to go along with it. Now, for the beverage, I made some green tea, some green iced tea. Pull it out the refrigerator. But I mentioned that I wanted it to be fruit flavored. So a lot of times we'll buy iced tea that's already in the package, like in a bottle, or instant, and we add water and it becomes fruit flavored. A lot of times it has a lot of sugar in there and you lose the benefits the health benefits that tea provides. Tea is a plant just like the other plant foods that we use tonight, the peaches, the tomatoes, the lentils, the leeks. So we just want to be gentle with it as well. When it comes to tea, there are 4 main types of tea. Can anybody name them?
Like jasmine tea?
Not quite. That's considered to be an herbal, and those aren't true teas because they use a blend of different products. Okay, so I see black, green, I see oolong, I see white. Absolutely. Those are the 4 different types of tea. Black, green, oolong, and white are the 4 types of tea. What makes them different is how they're processed. They all come from the same plant. So how they process the tea leaf will determine whether it's going to be black or oolong or green or white. Now, I use green tea this evening. I just
yes, every
Yeah.
That's it. I'm gonna do it.
I just boil some water and I put the tea bags in there, and you want to steep it for 3 to 5 minutes. This is going to help to release those phytochemicals, those chemicals that are naturally in plant foods that give them the different color, give them the aroma. That's where the health benefit is going to be. Any longer than that, it could be bitter and you're going to lose some of the health benefits. Now, to add a little flavor and a little sweetness to it, I like to blend up fruit with fruit juice. And tonight I use strawberries because they're in season, and I blended them up with cranberry juice. Now, the important thing to remember is that when you are selecting a juice, it should say 100% juice on the label. So you'll see that this is 100% juice. If it doesn't say 100% juice, they add water and they'll add sugar to it. So it will have more than just the natural sugars that are found in that fruit. So as the ice cubes, and then I just poured the mixture of blending up the fruit and the juice into ice cube trays, and then just pop them out and pour my tea over it. So as the ice is melting, you're going to get the flavor and some of the sweetness from the tea. So a healthy beverage is to have some of this green tea. It's iced with a little bit of fruit that's in there. And this was strawberries that were blended with cranberry juice that was 100% juice. Now, you can use any kind of fruit that you like. I like peaches with pineapple juice or orange juice with, any fruit like strawberries. It's whatever your preference is. But this is just another way for us to have a beverage without having a lot of added sugar, but also taking advantage of the benefits of the tea. So when it comes to tea, it has a lot of health benefits that have been shown. Lowers your risk of heart disease, certain cancers. It's helpful in terms of your blood pressure. So we want to make sure that we try to add some tea as well, another plant source for us. So tonight we have not only a colorful plate of food, we have a colorful glass of a beverage. We've added a variety of vegetables and fruit, all just within one meal. So if you take a look at the nutrient value of the different dishes, you'll see that the fish dish was under 200 calories. And same with the lentils, and the tea was only about 50 calories. So nice balance of calories. Good source of vitamins and nutrients, good source of fiber for us as well, and loaded with vitamins and minerals. So is this something that you would think that you would try to make at home?
Yes, definitely. May I ask a question, Chef? Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Does oolong tea help with weight loss?
It's been shown that all teas have been associated with weight loss, green more so than any others. It's more that it's a beverage like water that will fill you up and give you the sensation of fullness, just like water, and that you'll eat less. A lot of times when we think we're hungry, it's actually that we're dehydrated, we're thirsty. So before you reach for some food, you want to have something to drink. Now be mindful that when they did these studies, it was on tea that was just brewed and it was unsweetened. So they didn't add any kind of extra calories to the beverage. So the weight loss benefit comes from it being a beverage that will help to give you that feeling of fullness, but also to take away hunger when it really is dehydration, it's thirst.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions for me?
Not a question, but a comment. That looks so delicious, and I would love to have that for dinner right now. I'm a little hungry.
Yeah, come on over.
Thanks, Chef.
And I know it's green, but I'm gonna eat this for dinner tonight. I wish you could come and taste it. It smells absolutely delicious. You can smell the leeks and the onions and the cloves that are in the lentils, the freshness of the peaches because they're in season. You can smell them just from being quickly mixed in the salsa and the cilantro.
Wow. How long do you soak the lentils?
Didn't soak them at all. These are a flat bean that you don't have to soak. The key is to put them in water, bring it to a boil, and then take it down to a simmer. So when the DJ was pumping the music, you might have saw that I was dancing. Then I realized, I need to put my lentils on. And so I went off camera to put the lentils on, and that's how quickly it cooked, is within 20 minutes. The key is to flavor it. Flavor the water. We flavored the water with the onion that was studded with the cloves and a piece of turnip. When I was growing up, we had mashed turnips, like we would have mashed potatoes, especially in the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then when I started looking at other ways to use turnips, I saw that you could use it to flavor our food. It has kind of a sweet taste to a turnip. The key is that you don't want to have it laying around the house longer than maybe 2 or 3 days. So when you buy it in the store, you want to use it within a couple of days. It will become bitter the longer you have it. And if you put it in the refrigerator, it really intensifies the bitterness. So use it as soon as you purchase it and limit how cool it's going to be. It should be kept kind of at room temperature. So I see there's some questions in the chat, but I can't really see it. Shamra talked about as we're aging, our vision is going and my distance vision. I can't really see that, but if you can read them to me, I'd be happy to answer them.
So the question is, so one person said they've never eaten leeks. What do they taste like?
It's in the onion family, has a mild taste to it. So if you didn't have a leek, you could absolutely substitute an onion. You want one that's a milder, more sweeter flavor to it. So it could be a scallion. It could be even like a red onion as well, or a shallot, but it has a mild taste to it. Sharma mentioned the importance of having variety. And so when it comes to onions, there are different types and they have different flavors and different nutrient profiles. So you want to try to switch it up a little bit. You're going to find these in the produce section of the grocery store, pretty close to the other onions.
Will you be sending us this recipe?
I believe the recipes went out with the invite, and if not,
okay, notice. Okay, I'll check it out again.
We were not able to pull it up. Mine wouldn't come up.
The recipe will be emailed to everyone tomorrow. Sorry about the link not working.
That's fine. Thank you. Chef Natalie, hi, this is Ruth. I wanted to find out, now you had said something a few minutes ago. So a lot of times I be eating you were saying something about you could be really not hungry, but thirsty. And I'm feeling like I'm hungry. I'm like, why am I so hungry? And it could be that I'm thirsty.
Absolutely. And especially we were partying hard. So you're losing water when you are sweating, every time we're exhaling out, every time we urinate, every time we pass feces, we're losing water that way. So we got to make sure that we're replenishing it. When you're in a room where they're pumping in cool air like air conditioning or warm air like heat, that also is causing you to lose more water that way. So you want to make sure that you replace the water that you've lost. And one way that our body tells us that we need to replace what we lost is we feel thirsty or hungry. So when you're hungry, reach for something to drink first. Have a glass of water. You're still hungry, then have some food.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So there's a question about how to tell if a mango is ripe.
So a mango is ripe, and it depends on what kind of mango that you have, because there are different varieties, but the skin should be smooth. Fruit should be heavy because fruit contains a lot of water. So the riper it is, the more water it's going to have, the heavier it should feel. So you should put it in the palm of your hand and it should have some weight to it. It should have a little give to it. You don't want to poke fruit with your finger. You want to put it in your palm and try to squeeze it gently. Poking it won't really give you the sensation of ripeness. It's more about it being in the palm of your hand. So it's the same like when you have a peach or a nectarine or a plum. It should have a little weight to it, and it should have a little give to it when you put it in your palm of your hand and you try to squeeze it.
Thanks. I like to add also too, sometimes with mangoes from the Caribbean, you can smell it. If the green mangoes has no scent, but the ripe ones, you'll get a smell that it will, okay, this is closer, this is more ripe than the others. The green one, there's no scent to it at all, no smell. So when it's ripe, you can put it closer to your nostrils and you can feel it.
Thanks, Sharma. That's right on the money. And that's for all fruit. Like when you're picking a peach or a lemon or a strawberry, you should smell those fruit scents.
I don't like cilantro. Can anything else be used?
You can leave it out. You can use some flat Italian parsley instead. But you can absolutely leave it out.
Are you a proponent of fresh versus dried?
Either works. It's just the amount. So you're gonna need a little bit more if it's dried.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I buy from the farmer's market is fresh herbs, and I will put them in the freezer.
Oh.
And then I pull them out and use them in my cooking.
Is there any way to tell if a peach is going to be mealy versus the way it should be? I just bought some. I thought they were in the season now, and it tastes terrible. It's mealy.
Yeah, it's you want to try to look for the weight. Pick the ones that are heavier. So look for peaches that are about the same size. The one that's heavier is usually going to be less mealy. Try to smell it. Make sure that it has a nice peach smell to it. And I take advantage of the people that work in the produce section of the store. They work around those vegetables and fruit. They know when they came in. So ask them to help you to select some.
Thank you.
Same with going to the farmer's market. I take advantage of the farmers and ask them, help me to pick some ripe peach. Mm-hmm. One that's not as mealy.
Okay, thanks. I was disappointed, thanks.
Me too one day. So that's when I started taking advantage of the people that worked in the store and at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Will you be sending a copy, the tea recipe? You know how you did the tea with the fruit and juice?
Yes, you'll get 3 recipes. You'll get the baked cod with the peach and the tomato salsa. You will get the warm lentil salad, and you'll get the fruit flavored ice green tea. So 3 recipes that you should receive.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have one more question. Do the different color lentils taste different, or is the distinction in the size and texture?
It's more about the size and the texture. The taste of lentils really comes from what you add to it. So it's more about what you're making the lentils into. So whether it's a soup and it's going to be flavored by what you added into the soup, or like tonight, it was a salad in the flavoring that was added by the other vegetables, the leeks and the carrots and the garlic, as well as the dressing. They cook about the same amount of time. The most it will take is about 20 minutes. That's why I like dried lentils, because they're quick and easy to cook. Typically, we think about lentils in terms of a soup. That's why I wanted to make a salad this evening, so you can see just how versatile a lentil can be. So please do me a favor tonight when you are receive the evaluation. Please put on there things that you would like to see during the cooking demo, so that the chefs will know what you would like to have prepared.
This was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any diabetic recipes?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
I'm sorry, do you have any diabetic recipes?
So actually, all of these will fit into eating plan for people that have diabetes. You will see that at the bottom of each recipe, the nutrient information. Big nutrient to pay attention to when you have diabetes is carbohydrates. And kind of as a general rule for women, we want about 45 grams of carbohydrate per meal. Men want about 60. So tonight's meal was 45.
Oh, okay.
So you could have this would work.
Okay, thank you.
So in addition to enjoying cooking, I am a registered dietitian by trade. And so I try to be mindful of that. Same with sodium, cholesterol, and I always give that information to you on the bottom of the recipe.
Wow, great.
Natalie, that looks great. It looks scrumptious. Just want to remind everybody that all that is fresh. Look at the colors. It's all fresh fruits. There's no canned fruits in there. So you're getting less, as Natalie said, less sodium and less sugar. These are all fresh and they're all colorful. So please try the recipe out and let us know what you think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Natalie, Jasmine, Sherma, all pitching in for this delicious meal. I know for sure I'm trying the lentils. They look amazing. So we wrapped up another great night. We know you learned a lot and we had a really extra interactive fitness session experience by taking just a few moments to complete the evaluation right after you log off. This survey is anonymous, so please be very open with your answers, but you do have the option of leaving your name at the end. Next month, we'll select a winner from those who have both completed the evaluation and left their name, and you'll be entered to win a token of our appreciation for that feedback. So on the next slide, you're going to see a wheel of names for those who completed the evaluation in May and opted to leave their name. So next month, you'll see your name if you do the same. So Yolanda's going to spin that wheel and we'll choose our winner. Here we go. Yolanda, I don't see it spinning quite yet, but it's there for us. Oh, yay, there we go. Miss Pickens, congratulations. So Parks and Recreation Prince George's County is sponsoring this month's prize, and you'll be getting a $25 Amazon gift card.
All right.
So hopefully you can make some healthy purchases with your prize, and our team will follow up with you to just confirm your email to make sure you receive your gift. So our last slide is just going to remind us that in the next few days, you will receive one more email in addition to tonight's evaluation email with a link to the program, the recording, and another copy of the recipes, as well as the other resources that you saw tonight. Our hope is that you do use these resources to support your wellness throughout the month until we meet again. So thank you for joining us and have a wonderful night. We will see you in July.